Welcome, welcome to the home of all things ballroom dance. Today's topic, how do professional ballroom dancers earn a living? Okay, so the most popular question I get, is that a real job? Yes, it's a real job. Kind of like being a lion tamer. There's not many of us, but absolutely it is a real job. And many people, including myself, do it full time. The most common way that we earn money is by teaching. And by teaching lessons kind of to our own regular clientele. Funny story for you. When I first decided to turn pro, and I told my parents I was going to become a professional ballroom dancer, the first words out of my mom's mouth were, "Have you lost your mind?" And she burst into tears. And my dad said, "Do you really think people are going to pay you to learn to dance?" And of course, they even said this knowing I had dropped hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching, but I guess they thought I was the only crazy in the world that would actually want to learn to ballroom dance and do it well. So yes, it is a real job. And honestly, guys, if you ask my folks now, they would probably tell you it was their idea, but trust you me, it did not go over well in the Page household. They had visions of me taking over a family business that was a lumber wholesale firm. And you guys know me, like I am not one to work in an office full of good old boys who wear plaid and have taxidermy on the wall. Like, I am so about glamour and tail suits and rhinestones and eyelashes. So anyway, I just have to chuckle about that to this day. I'm so glad I followed my heart. Anyway, so there are several teaching methods you can do to make money, and usually we do a combination of these, okay? Now, firstly, it is rare, but I do know several pros that basically work on retainer exclusively for one client. So they aren't paid per hour. That client pays them a boatload of money per year to only teach them, to only compete with them. Sometimes they even, in their contract, if they are at the same social dance, they are only allowed to dance with that student. And mind you, there are limitations to this contract, in terms of the, when you're going to work, the hours, maybe how many comps you'll do, how many entries you'll do with that comp, because, you don't want to kill yourself working 70 hours a week as dancing. But yeah, that does happen. Okay. Again, that's not common, but it does happen. I've seen it happen. Honestly, if you're a pro or thinking about turning pro, I would caution you against going that way, or at least very carefully choose the student if you receive that offer. And I've never known anyone to offer the student that. The student always goes to the pro. Here's why. I have a horror story for you. A friend did that, dumped all their clientele. And this lady treated him like a superstar, like first class everywhere, bought him a very high-end apartment, a fancy car, always got him the best room in the hotel, paid him a fortune. And so he did choose that because it was a beautiful, fabulous, elegant lifestyle. But one day she decided to stop dancing. No warning. And she dumped him, which, we're, I think it's called right to employment country or something, anything. You're never guaranteed a job. So essentially he's fired, and then he has no clientele. And at that point, he stepped on the toes of any of his former students. You dump your students, they move on. They're not going to come back to you. They don't want to be dumped again. So he ended up having to quit dancing. He could not get a clientele after that. So if you do choose that route, just be careful of that student that you're rolling with, okay? More common, we teach a variety of students, and we teach both group classes and private lessons. In a group class, you schedule, say, once a week, a Tuesday at 7, and you do a foxtrot series for a month. These classes are usually taught in a series, and the students pay per person. They rotate in the class. You can't progress as fast in an open to the public group class, but it is cheaper than taking privates. It's a good social opportunity. So it's a way for students to make friends and for newcomers just to slap the boards and get some cheap dance time, okay? Because a very new student to dancing, is going to be limited in what they can learn anyway. A competitor certainly is going to need private lessons, which are more expensive, but that's the level of info you can really hit on that's personalized in that private, okay? More often than the groups, usually we'll teach privates. Privates can be one-off lessons, like a wedding couple. You might see 1 to 3 times. Or usually these are standing lessons. So these students are the more committed ones to dancing well. Sometimes they are social dancers, but they just don't feel comfortable dancing with other people. Maybe they don't want to rotate in the group class, or they have some sort of religious restriction. This does happen. Or maybe, if you want to be impressed with the dancing, then you take a private. I do have a gal that takes with me weekly that just likes being led well. And she doesn't even social dance. She just likes coming and being led around the room and feeling good for 45 minutes. So that works. Usually a lesson is 45 minutes long, and they pay just per lesson. Occasionally teachers have you sign some sort of contract or like buy 10 lessons at a discount. I personally find that to be a little shady, to rope people into prepaying and having to show up. So most of the teachers I do that are high-end teachers do no packages. They just pay as you go. And if, hey, you want to stop taking that week, no problemo. No harm, no foul. To a lesser degree, we teach, I'll call it off-campus lessons as well, where it's not in our studio. Usually a pro will have like a home studio. Either they own the studio or they teach primarily out of one location. Sometimes due to floor space availability, we might teach in multiple locations, but usually you have a set time, set location. Sometimes I'm hired to do off-campus events. These tend to be not long-term. Now, I don't take these type of jobs, but they're very readily available, even to low-level amateur dancers, because people are desperate to hire for them. For example, teaching for a university, a public college, they're always hiring for this type of job. They don't pay well. Certainly the ballroom dance teachers are paid higher than the ballet and other styles of teachers, but it's not going to be kind of what a professional level teacher would make. It might be 40 an hour or something. So unless you're very new to teaching, most of I don't know any pros that go that route, at least later on in their career. Maybe if they're brand new to moving to town and have absolutely no clientele, they might do that for a little bit, just to kind of close that gap between when they're fully booked and when they're new. But I've done like corporate events where I'll just show up for one day and do like a team building event where I teach them to ballroom dance. Or maybe a wedding. I've been hired for weddings to come and just teach a wedding party lesson while the couple and the bridal party is out getting their photographs. I've done churches where I go in and I would call that a team building activity as well, where I might come in and do a 1-month series for a church group. And that's kind of maybe a group they do with their Bible study group or something for fun. Could be a convention. And I shared a story in a previous video about the funniest ballroom dance lesson I ever taught. That was at a convention. So anyway, a variety of ways that we might teach, and we earn money in all those ways. Pros that have competed at the championship level, even if it's amateur championship level, there's still going to be a higher level pro. They're going to have kind of special information to share. There's definitely not as many of these professionals, but that level of professional will also be able to teach Pro-Am, which is definitely deeply embedded in the professional teaching community for the higher level pros. Now that is a topic in itself, so I am gonna share another video detailing kind of how that Pro-Am world works. And that's similar to what you see on Dancing with the Stars, where the stars dancing with their teacher. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and I'll share more about Pro-Am dancing and how we earn money doing that. Okay guys, toodles! Thanks for joining me. If you like all things ballroom dance, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for joining me. Bye.